So this is my Hyundai Ioniq Electric. It's a 2020 with a 38 kilowatt hour battery, and these have got the BlueLink app. So in this video I'm just going to show you the basics of what the app does, so that if you get one of these cars you can decide whether you need to bother setting this up. So the previous generation of this car with the 28 kilowatt hour battery does not have an app, but when they introduced the 38 kilowatt hour vehicles in 2020, they introduced the BlueLink app. And like apps you get with other electric vehicles, it allows you to remotely monitor the car and control some settings like charging and preconditioning and that sort of thing. Personally, after driving electric cars for over 7 years now, I rarely use apps. In fact, our other Ioniq, we've been driving that for, I don't know, it must be getting on near 10 months now. Never installed the app on it, don't really bother. But when I got this car, I thought I'll try the app and we'll see the differences. And what I've been doing is monitoring the 12-volt battery drain to see whether using the app increases the potential of the 12-volt battery draining. So far it hasn't, but anyway, that's a different story. But what I found with using apps on various electric vehicles is if you're new to an EV and you've never had a modern car before, yeah, they're great. Having an app, you've got all these extra functionalities and things like remote preconditioning and things like that. But I tend to find it's something whizzy that you can show off to your mates and you start using it initially, but the novelty wears off after a fortnight or so. And after driving EVs for more than 7 years, I don't bother with the apps. I've got it on this car, but I never open it. Even on the Tesla, which is a particularly good app, I very rarely go into it. But anyway, that's not the point of the video. Really, I'm just going to show you the basic functions. So if you bought one of these cars, you can then watch this video and decide whether you want to run the app or not. So let's just run through some of the basics. I'm not going to cover every single thing in the app, but I'll just cover the basics so you know what the app does. Basically, it's just remotely monitoring the car. So we can see my car up there. It's showing me the estimated range, and there's a few shortcuts here I can do. I can lock it, smart climate control, and unlock it, or I can press more, and this is the remote section. So here's all the functions you can do to the car remotely. You can lock it, you can unlock it. You've got the smart climate control. You can stop the smart climate control. I've just had a notification from the car as well. You can start charging and you can stop charging. You can set the climate there, and you've got scheduled charging. So I'll just jump to that notification. That's one thing I do like about the app. Like the Tesla, it notifies you. So I've had a notification there to say the vehicle isn't locked, and I've purposely done that. I've just walked away from the car without locking it to show you these alerts, and that's one thing I do like. I've also left the window open. Is it going to give me an alert for that? No, it's not. Not yet anyway. I don't think it probably gives alerts for windows opened. Anyway, so if I jump back to home, you've got EV service. This is setting charge limits and charging completion alert. Yeah, this is just alerts for charging. Anyway, I'm going to cancel that. No, I can't cancel that. I've got to let that run. There. So a lot of this is settings that you can do in the car. And to be honest, you would probably do it in the car when you got the car anyway. So really the main function of the app is these remote control functions, I would say. So you can also look at the status of the car, so we can see the estimated range. We can see what the status of the charging is. So at the moment it's plugged in, waiting to do a charge tonight. We can see the battery percentage. We can see the scheduled charging, which there's no charging scheduling set up in the car because that's set up in the external charger. And we can schedule the climate control. We can see the locking status. At the moment the car's unlocked. We've got the remote control, and vehicle management report. What's that's doing? Oh, we've got various stats and things here from the vehicle. But most of this you don't really need remotely. If anything, this gives you too much information, I think. So the vehicle is currently unlocked. So what I should be able to do, if I go to remote, I'll say lock. I've just got to put my fingerprint in, and that is sending the command to the vehicle to lock the vehicle remotely. And there it is. I've got a notification to say the vehicle's been locked. So that's one function that I do find handy, because I keep leaving the vehicle unlocked purely because I'm used to driving the Tesla, where it locks by itself, and the Hyundai is a bit more traditional, where you have to do everything. So for most users, you know, even that function isn't going to be a huge advantage, because most people remember to lock their car when they leave it. Another thing we've got here is maps, and we can look up charging stations, parking, shopping, eat and drink, and more points of interest. Again, I don't know how useful that's going to be to most people to have this on the phone, and the rest is just various settings for the app. So that's really the bulk of the functionality. There is an awful lot in here, particularly when you come to looking at the status of your car, but do you really need that in an app? I don't know. Under notifications, we can see all the notifications I've had recently. So doors unlocked, doors locked, and as you can see, it's all doors unlocked. Another one, the vehicle's been on for 15 minutes. If you leave the vehicle running, it gives you a notification. Again, that's not going to happen to many people. That was when I was filming a video, I think, so I got a ping to say I'd left the vehicle running, but of course I knew I'd left the vehicle running. You also get your charging notifications if you want them, but to be honest, if you set up too many notifications, you get a bit bombarded with them, particularly if you're charging your vehicle every night. But anyway, that's it really. That's the app. It does quite a lot for electric vehicle apps. It is pretty good. Doesn't always work though. Quite often with this locking, I've sent the command to lock the vehicle, and I would say it only works about 50% of the time. And that's quite common across all manufacturers. Apps aren't foolproof. They rely on a data connection of your phone back to the manufacturer's server, back down to the car, and at any point it can easily drop and things just stop working. So I think that's it for this video. We'll keep this one short and sweet. I couldn't find this information when I was deciding whether I wanted to go to the effort of installing the app. It is free. I think it's free for 3 years or so. Anyway, it was free when I set this up, and relatively easy to set up. So if you found this video useful, as always, please do click the thumbs up. Got a bit of a stutter there. If you want to know more about the Hyundai Ioniq, again, there's a playlist in the video description below where you can look at all the other videos I've made on this car. And I'll see you on the next video. Okie doke, bye then.